Good morning class, Sairam. Today the first topic we are going to understand is elastic fatigue. In this property you can understand elastic fatigue is what? It is the property of an elastic body by virtue of which its behavior becomes less elastic under the action of repeated alternating deforming force. Okay, you can call it dead load also. So what is it? Suppose if we consider any example of suppose railway bridge, okay, or you can consider any simple bridge. In that case you can understand these are your columns, or you can say pillars, okay. In technical language these are called piers, and this is called span of the bridge. So here we need to understand that suppose if any particular vehicle is going in this bridge, okay, so all these loads are repeated load, okay, they continuously acts on this span of bridge. So under that action of these dead loads, your bridge becomes like this. Its shape becomes permanently deformed after 10 to 12 years, okay. So such thing is called deformation, or such thing is called permanent deformation due to action of repeated loads, okay, or dead loads. So this property of material is called elastic fatigue. Now next thing is relation between elastic modulus of different elastic modulus. What is the relation? First of all we need to understand that isotropic material. For isotropic material we are talking about these relations. So what are isotropic material? Those material which have same property in all directions. So only these materials are called elastic. These are called isotropic material, and we are talking about relation of elastic constant for isotropic material. So this relation is that 3 upon y, or you can say Young's modulus, equal to 1 upon eta plus 3 upon b, okay. So eta and b are your shear modulus and bulk modulus. After that we have one new thing that is called breaking stress. So the ultimate tensile strength of a material is the stress required to break a wire or a rod by pulling on it. The breaking stress of the material is the maximum stress which a material can withstand. Beyond this point breaking occurs. So breaking stress is what? That maximum strength of any material up to which it can withstand this maximum load, okay, and after that it will break. So corresponding stress is called breaking stress. Then we have relation that how much work we have to do to stretch a wire, and relation is between stress, strain and work. In this particular case we are talking about a simple rod whose length is given, that is say capital L, and we stretch this rod by some amount of force, and there is some stretched amount, that is delta L. Stretched value is denoted by delta L, or you can say this is increase in length, that is L, okay, and capital L is original length. So work done we have to do, that is equal to half of stress into strain. This is work done per unit volume. Now we will understand this formula. According to the formula of elastic modulus, we know that elastic modulus is what? That is F by A, which is stress upon strain, L by capital L. That capital L will go to the numerator part. So it is basically stress by strain. You can understand in this way also. So this is the definition of elastic modulus. From here we will try to determine the amount of force, and that force will be how much? That will be equal to y into AL small l upon capital L, okay. So here you can see that force is given YAL upon capital L. So work done by this force in stretching the wire is stored in the wire as a potential energy, and that work done will be equal to force into small displacement dl, that force YAL upon L into dl. Now we will integrate on both sides. This dw will become w, and integration of yal upon capital L. This y, capital A, capital L, these are constant values, so will come out of integral part. Inside this integral value, integral symbol, we will have small l into dl, that is change in length, and limit will be 0 to small l. Then integration of L will be L square by 2. Okay, here we will put limit also. So this is the value of work done, that half YAL upon capital L into small l. Okay, or you can simply say half F into small l, force into small l. Okay, stressed value. Now we need to calculate the amount of force. This is the formula we have obtained, that potential energy equal to force into extension. Now we want to calculate our potential energy per unit volume. So what we will do, we will divide on LHS by volume V, and here on the RHS we will put the value of F, that is YA small l upon capital L, and this divide by L upon V. Okay, this was the value of force, we have divided it by volume. Okay, force into small l upon volume. So this will become what? We have to put the value of volume, that is capital A into L. Okay, volume of the rod is what? That is cross sectional area into total length. Now this will become A into capital L, and this expression will be same. So after that we will separate this term y small l upon capital L, okay, into L by L. Here you can understand that this A to A will be cancelled out. Okay, so we will left with this term only. Now this term is what? Y small l upon capital L. This is your F by A. Okay, stress. This is, you can say, this is value of stress, and small l by L, that is what? That is your strain value. Okay, so here we got our answer, that work done per unit volume is half into stress into strain. And this elastic potential energy of the wire, that is energy density, is equal to the half the product of its stress and strain. So one important table is given over here, that is shear modulus. Values of different modulus are given, like shear modulus G, and here material is given aluminium, and its shear modulus is what? It is a multiple of 10 raised to the power 9, that is gigapascal, so 25 gigapascal. Then brass, copper, glass, iron, different materials are given, and their shear modulus are given. Okay, these values will be used in numerical portion. Now here you can see one summary of the chapter, that is stress, strain and various modulus of elasticity. So first of all we have tensile or compressive stress. First column is types of stress, and here we have stress to equal and opposite force perpendicular to the opposite faces. Okay, it is saying that this will be your tensile or compressive stress. If the force is stretching, then it is called tensile force, and if it is compressing, then this will be called compressive stress. Okay, just force upon area. And strain is what? Elongation or compression parallel to the force. Okay, that is longitudinal force. Means if you are stretching a wire, then delta L is in the same direction, then that will be called longitudinal strain. Otherwise it may be lateral strain also. Okay, if it is changing in the lateral dimension or perpendicular dimension. So question is that change in shape, yes, and change in volume, no, because we got only change in shape, not in volume. Elastic modulus Y, okay, that is what? F by A, that is stress into upon strain, delta L by L. Basically this is mentioned like this one, F by A upon delta L by L. Okay, so this will become F into L, capital L you can assume it, upon delta L into A. Okay, so same thing is mentioned over here, you can read. Next is types of modulus. Which types of modulus we will call it? that will be called Young's modulus. And states of matter is what? That is solid. Then we have shear stress. What is shear stress, or what are the consequences of this? Two equal and opposite forces parallel to the opposite surface. Force in each case such that the total force and the total torque on the body vanishes. Means they will counteract each other. So here your sigma s is what? That is force upon area. Basically you will have a body in which your tangential force will act, and it is saying on opposite direction there must be one kind of force, only then we can say that shear stress is acting. Okay, so torque and force both should neutralize or both should counter each other. And pure shear strain is what? Shear strain is this angle theta made with the vertical by this vertical side. And yes is what? The change in shape, if we call it, is there any change in shape? Yes, there will be change in shape, but change in volume is no. Okay, so after that we have a formula for this, that is F by A into theta. Okay, or here you can understand that shear modulus is what? That is strain. Okay, that is stress upon strain theta. Okay, so this is basically your shear strain, shear modulus. After that we can call it that states of matter will be solid only. Then we have hydraulic stress. Okay, or you can call it the stress which cause the volumetric effect, which change the volume of the body. Okay, so force perpendicular to everywhere, where to the surface, force per unit area, pressure same everywhere. So it is saying that if we can kept any body inside the water, then hydraulic stress is the best example for bulk modulus, or for such stress in which force is always perpendicular to the surface. Okay, and every part of the surface. Here you can understand, but in this case you will see there is some change in volume also, that is delta V. So here it is saying that change in shape is no. If body is circular or spherical, it will be same, but change in volume is yes. And bulk modulus is what? That is normal stress, that is often denoted by P upon volumetric strain, that is delta V by B, and this is called your bulk modulus, this ratio denoted by capital B. And this effect we can observe under solid, liquid or gas also. So this is all for this chapter. Thank you. Sai Ram.